your home, uh, the energy company has electrical wires kind of coming into the house. Then there's a big box, and things kind of branch off of that, right? And so off of that, there'll be maybe a main line that goes maybe towards your kitchen, maybe another main line that goes towards the laundry room, and then maybe a third line that goes to like bedrooms and outlets and stuff like that. Ballparkish, just rounding, just generally. And then each of those lines, like if we say the line that goes to your kitchen, there's the line that goes to your kitchen, and then that will also split off, and it'll have one section go towards like the oven, one section go towards the fridge, maybe one section go towards the kitchen lights, maybe one section go towards the dishwasher, stuff like that, maybe another section go to outlets. But all of that stuff kind of is branched off of one route. Yeah. So there's the box, and then a sprout coming out that goes to the kitchen, and then that one sprouts off and goes. This one will go to the fridge and bring it back to the power source. This one will go to the outlets and then go back to the circuit box. This one will go to the lights and back, but all of them are on this same kind of primary branch off of that power, off of your circuit box. Let that digest for a second. So we have that one arm, and kind of like an arm, right? Big arm going through, leaving the circuit box, and then maybe fridge, and then back to power, maybe outlets back to power, maybe dishwasher back to power. Did I say lights, stove, stuff like that, right? And every one of those then goes back off. So this is a lot like kind of the junction rule sort of stuff, right? So whatever current is used by all of these different circuits must go through this branch. And this wire can only take so much current before it melts, before it gets hot and maybe melts the insulation around the wire. Excuse me. The wire itself, the metal itself, uh, we won't see it get so hot that the metal itself melts, but it'll start to melt the insulation around it, and then we have a risk for the home. So what we're going to try to do is find ways to group all of these different branches so that this wire doesn't get too hot. And what the people building a home do is they just put in fuses or circuit breakers in this main wire, and this fuse will, or circuit breaker, will basically just turn off this entire set if the current gets too high. So they have then like a current limit. So down here, I just kind of named different branches. I said branch A, that one will have a fuse that stops at 15 amps. So if 15 amps or 16 amps goes through this branch, then that fuse will turn everything off on that branch. Then you need to go down, figure out what was going on to overload that circuit and stop it. And if we say we're going to go with a branch ID for D, then we can say, hey, the combination, that main branch, can have up to 20 amps. Now, the more branches you have, the more expensive it costs, the more expensive it is to build everything. So you can't just say, hey, I'm going to put everything on its own fuse. That's kind of expensive. So what we end up trying to do is group things according to both function and maybe location, and then also trying to keep things within like these limits. And so this is based solely on like current and location, right? We don't need to worry about the potential difference. We don't need to worry about the resistance. We just need to worry mainly about current. So if I say, hey, like the bathroom lights, like if we're talking about like the vent, some bathrooms have vents that'll also kick any steam from a shower or a bath or whatever out through a vent. So that would be 13 amps. If I did that with branch A, B, or C, that'd be about all we could put on that branch, and we're kind of done, right? So that doesn't seem like a great way to go. So 15 amps seems like it's probably too small for that. So I would maybe think about going, hey, I'll go with D for 20. Yeah. So if I say I'm going to put this as a on branch D, where the max is 20, bathroom 13 amps. Now we have a few more amps that we could put on there, and this is a light. So I could think about saying, hey, what other light like things, right? Sometimes it's nice to group those things. So if I say the bedroom lights, 2 amps each, that'd be 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So we're in the neighborhood there where we could kind of say, hey, I'll go with D on those. And now I'm underneath my 20 amp limit, and that can work. Yeah. Um, excuse me. It's conceivable that we could say, hey, these outlets for the game system and the TV, we could put those there too. That's 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. If we do that, we're still under the 20 amps, and that can work. And sometimes people will plan for, well, what are the odds that you have all of those things on at the same time? Sometimes things are arranged differently, but these, it's not unreasonable for all of them to be on at the same time. But that kind of keeps everything within our 20 amps, and we're kind of good. Does that make sense? Okay. Um, and then I'd be so now D is used up. I'm not going to put anything more on D. I'm going to look for other things. And it might be helpful to start with like those big current value items. Like the hair dryer, that's in on an outlet, that's at 17. One way to go there. If we did, again, if we did a 20 amper, that would kind of be everything right there. So maybe we'd look at going with the other 30 amp deal. We could throw H on there, and then we could see what else we can put on with this outlet. And let's see, the hair dryer and the iron would probably be plugged into the same spot, right? I mean, you probably, both of those would probably be used. Oh, not iron. I was thinking curling iron. You're not going to probably use the iron in the bathroom. My bad. So the hair dryer's at 17. Then we can look to see what other stuff would combine to make sure that we're still staying under 30. So that's the general idea, is to try to make sure that whatever fuse set we're using, we combine these things in a way where they don't go over the fuse limit. Period. Okay, that's the primary goal there. There are other considerations and ways to make things work more smoothly for real home construction, but it turns out we're not really building a home. So, right now, we just want to make sure that this stuff kind of makes sense and that it works at least mathematically. And really, all of this stuff, what we're doing is we're really applying the junction rule, right? Whatever current goes through here splits up. Whatever this total current is here is the total current through these things, and total current into this junction is the same as the total current out of that junction. So we're just really applying that junction rule for current through this stuff.